1 hour ago.
No clue what's going on, guys. Absolutely no clue. I'm coming off of 2 network disconnects. We did pass 72,000 subscribers, so I do appreciate that. I'm really sorry, right? As the general manager of this Wendy's, this should not be something that happens, and I'm really, really sorry. Like, I just don't know what's happening. So, one more try. I'm going to try and cover these freaking last 10 minutes of Power Hour because this is really important, and I want to be able to make sure that we are actually focusing up here and try our best to make this work. Thank you guys for coming back even. Okay. I was about to give up because I thought I got disconnected again. Oh man. Wow, I look okay. Well, we're just gonna push through, guys. We're just gonna push through the last 10 minutes of Power Hour. So, hey guys, the thing about this channel is that we get to have other data scientists and other big wrinkly brained members come on the show and help us out with some DD. So that's what we appreciate about this community. So the first thing that I want to notice is that we had made some price predictions about GameStop. It is currently up 50% with the last 10 minutes of Power Hour until after hours begins. We have faced multiple network outages today, and we are still in it to win it. So if you guys appreciate the hustle, the like button is waiting for you, and the subscribe button is as well. So we are back. We are here talking about the sentiment analysis DD from user Chubby Moo, also known as our friend Mo Monkey that we just saw in the entry point here. So thank you, and here we go. Hey, fellow apes, just wanted to share a few information that we were digging while scratching a few wrinkles from my data science background here. The intention of this post is to help give some of you more confidence and help through some rough times. He's inside the financial market for more than 10 years now, and the psychological part is the worst to handle when you are not prepared. So, just to add some context, they are a financial advisor. Wow, that's the first time we've heard that. But this is not financial advice, and they are not American, so excuse the bad English. Well, this English sounds perfectly fine so far. Once more, look at that chart. We did do a price prediction of 190. Pay attention up there. This is because of the multiple impulse waves that we had earlier today and the bullish nature of the entire market right now. So those of you who are buying and holding, it is a upwards fight, but you are fighting the good fight. And once again, without any financial advice moving forward, let's go. Random tips. Oh, he also has 4 cats. I advise you to do your own diligence and follow whatever works for you financially. Never gamble with money you can't afford to lose. Also have an objective and aim at it. That way you won't be affected by ups and downs that the volatility can bring into your life. They've been silent, so you might notice that your account is fairly new, but they like to read more than write, so they're here every day. Too long didn't read. This is just the results of some research he did while regarding news timing and sentiment analysis for GME. And onwards we go. Oh boy. Yes, we have passed 72,000. Thank you guys so much. For starters, they would like to talk about Kramer on CNBC and his sudden change of hearts. Probably some of you have not seen his video after the earnings call, but it goes like this. Everything here is positive, and I can see why people shouldn't have shorted it at $15. Kramer, CNBC, March 2021. Here is the link in case you want to check. And then there's earnings week, all eyes and ears waiting for the earnings, and after it's released, a lot of FUD news starts to pop, right? Fear, uncertainty, and doubt. I'm trying to not speak like I'm trying to catch my breath all the time, so that's taking some constructive criticism for you guys. So, GameStop losses luster in earnings aftermath, possible share sale. And then GameStop's Reddit believers find hope in short squeeze mention. And finally, GameStop stock had a bad day. Earnings just made it worse. And then you start wondering, what are you guys talking about? They can't say that the earnings report was the best thing we could ever expect, but come on. We are in the middle of a pandemic evaluating the performance of about to bankrupt brick and mortar company, and now those guys release some like hiring ex-Amazon expert to the team, cutting expenses, increased e-commerce sales by 130%, transforming the whole company into a new gaming shop experience for its users and its consumer database, which is huge. All of this while a lot of companies are barely holding itself in major debt. Conclusion, big boo-boo by the media. Too long didn't read. Already having a positive call on here. 6 minutes left on the market. Watch this prediction come true. 190 GameStop for the end of the day. Thank you for the super intervals. I'll check in a second. It continues a day before the earnings call. March 22, the sentiment and trends search for GameStop stock related subject had roughly 1.6 million reach. March 23rd, we had a huge spike totaling 22 million reach in mentions and whatnots related to the whole sentiment thing that I won't go deeper here. New Cohen tweet. Ooh, new Cohen tweet. Okay, we're going to cover that in just a hot second. Let's see. Awesome, right? It sounds like the whole media, independent of the 10K filings and the earnings call, were preparing to shoot some FUD, fear, uncertainty, and doubt relating to whatever GME releases. But we are trained apes and don't fall for that anymore. Now the fun part. They ran some sentiment analysis using natural language processing and blah blah. It generated a nice chart for us. Right, so negative is negative sentiment, positive is positive sentiment. If you guys know swaggy stocks, that is also a tool that we've used in the past to indicate. Oh wait, hold on. Swaggy stocks is this one to indicate sentiment analysis here. Right, we have the sentiment in red for negative sentiment and green for positive sentiment. That's for Tesla. We have one for GME here, and our friend seems to have pulled some as well. So on the 25th, which is today, there is an overwhelming positive sentiment here, as was on the 22nd, I mean, overall negative sentiment for 23 and the 24th. Makes sense. It trends with the amount of time that the amount of movement that there is. Okay, what this chart tells us basically is that we have neutral to positive sentiment throughout media on March 22, and then the day of the earnings call and the day after, the FUD spread. Today, 25th of March, we have a stock plus 32%. While I'm writing this, right, it's up 55% right now. $5 away from that. $5 away and 5 minutes away until after hours begins. The FUD cannot be sustained for too long. We have a very positive sentiment spread today. Some other stats. 67% of the mentions are from personal accounts. 33% of the mentions are from company profiles. This is one stats to keep your heads up and always double check the sources of the news you are reading. And add to this long butt post. Give apes banana and apes stay calm. Look at the sentiment analysis chart right there. That's the spread of positive and negative sentiment here. Left is negative, right is positive. Most of the mentions today are considered by analysis as relaxed, pleased, and serene. All apes are not affected by FUD and keep holding nice. As Renzel says, be nice to everyone. Also, if you read this, send me a message. So that's the case right here. Guys, get this data scientist a little bit of the attention it deserves. I'm gonna grab this and put it in the description below. And once again, thank you, Gabriel Enriquez, for sending the super as well as pointing us in the direction of your excellent DD. Thank you for those of you who are here on the Moon Platoon, Gorillionaire, and Meatball the Space Legends here. And now we're gonna focus up on how the day is gonna end right before after hours. See you in the money. Okay. $5 away. It may be $5 shy of 190. Let's look at that options chain again. So let's refresh it just in case. So 2 minutes away. Sup, Andrew? Dear GME brothers and sisters, cup and handle is completed. It is time for justice. Can't stop, won't stop, GameStop. Greets from Taha. I wouldn't say that the cup and handle has well, it's not completed. It might have been initiated, but it definitely isn't what I would consider completed yet. Because, as of course you know, the rip that follows the cup and handle is the most important part. Congrats to those of you who bought the dips, says Jaff and Tech. Yes, very, very true. Okay, so I missed a tweet that says, Ed Rodriguez says, everyone liked the video. He's been brilliant for us. I appreciate that so much. Thank you. Gino Saint Star, new Cohen tweet, Bulls are smoking the Bears. Cheers, Andrew Meatball and roommate Hector. Heck yeah. Let's get Cohen's tweet up here. Ryan Cohen, Twitter. Oh, the Bears are getting smoked. The Bears are getting smoked. Perfect. Okay. 2 more minutes on the day, $6 away from 190. Let's look at how many calls are at 190 for GME. So right here we have $1 million worth of calls at 190, which would prop us up pretty nicely here. Right? Remember this $200 strike price call wall right here? Right? It's fun to say, but also more fun to actualize. Right now, we are seeing the slowly built momentum of these options bringing us forward slower and slower. Now, notice that there is a brand new put wall at 120. This was at 150 yesterday. So they're going to have to rebuild and slowly put more negative pressure on a gamma ramp downward. However, there's almost no chance that this is going to happen anytime soon. Oh boy. We are all being part of history, says Bobby Ledger, being written as we speak. Very true. DFE tweet. Okay, so that's Ryan Cohen's tweet. And then we're going to look at Roaring Kitty's tweet. Okay, 2 minutes ago, it's a cat that said that there was just not a lot of that gamma ramp like GME had. However, even though GME has people betting on it like crazy institutional gamblers, but it works. It works for us. GameStop continues to rise in the after hours currently. It is now just peaking at 190 here. Never forget, seriously. Whew. So, I think I need to repeat myself. The GameStop has completed its journey to 183.95. Hug your children, hug your wives, hug your wives' boyfriends, because we are looking at some serious after hours movement as well. Coming into the 190 range won't be easy, but it just may be the step that it takes in the after hours. However, AMC right now also has big cause for celebration as well. 1095 at the end of the day. That is up 21.4%. Just look at the sheer amount of volume here. Still lower than its average in the 3 months, but 120, almost 130 million in volume for AMC and for GME. For the first time, I think in weeks, they exceeded the daily average of 43.8 million. It today is just 500,000 shy of 50 million flat. 50 million volume. That's insanity. Oh man. Andrew, are you an angel? You were dead. Oh, I'm back, baby. Cannot keep it down. Dead cat.
Why was you disconnected?
I can disconnect it again?
That's why people were like F.
No, that's why. I know. I was disconnected. Whoopsie.
Okay.
Oh, man. So, we are ripping now in the aftermarket. So, it's especially important to note that there are big moves ahead for the aftermarket as well. GameStop is not going to stop just because today the market is officially closed. This is going to be a monumentous day, and we have a lot to talk about in terms of how this happened. So we're going to do a quick recap, and then we're going to work on just a little bit of putting our brains back in our heads for the rest of the day. Jeez Louise, that's insanity. Okay, so let's check it out here. Thank you for pulling through the technical difficulties. It's not easy. Congratulations, GameStop and AMC, right? This is just the first part of the fight. I would say that we have returned to, if the cup and handle is still right on the horizon, we have returned to maybe 50% up on the top of the lid, right? So that way we are looking at the $300 lip of this daily chart here. Actually, this is a good point right here. Yeah, I'm gonna look at the cup and handle from before, so you guys can see this here. We had, this is Wynn Resorts. It is a real cup and handle that happened in 2002. There was this major sell-off and then a little bit of a dip later on. However, that major sell-off stayed at roughly the same 50% and higher range of this lip right here. Right, they contested the same resistance twice, and that creates this two parts of this cup. And right now what we're looking at here is that we're finally rising to above 50% of that cup. That cup and handle is going to be the new merch store item. Seriously. Oh, man. Stray X says, I just noticed that we broke 69,420. Did we ever get to meet your mom, producer, girlfriend? That's true. I did promise mom reveal. And do you want to co-host? Do you want to be in here?
Maybe.
Okay, so we'll only do it if she's into it. So let me do the recap of well, I don't know. I'm gonna do a recap here. 3,500 of you smashing that like button. I appreciate it, guys. Got us up to 72,000. I'm happy. We are growing that Mo Monkey army here. Okay, so what are we looking at here? So one of the first things is I'm going to look back on the options. I'm also going to open up one for AMC. Okay, so that's the one for AMC. Beautiful. So now that we have these two, oh man. Hi, Mom. What? You're in the room with me. You can clear me.
Yeah, man, it stinks.
Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna cover the what happened after markets now. Oh, what I would like to be able to release that video of my prediction because that was a good prediction. Basically, oh, AMC is up to 1136 after hours, jumped another 3.5%. So this is a bounce ramp upward, crossing over. Let me see the options chain again. $11. So it just pushed past 11. So that was the important milestone for it to cross. Has $1 million calls right there. Okay. Update on that cup and handle. Let's go. If you guys are coming from Matt's stream, I'm not sure if Matt's done yet. Throw some ducks in the chat. Welcome, welcome. Yes, he just finished. Well, how's it going, guys? Welcome. We had some technical difficulties, but now we're going to go straight into a recap of what happened today in the technicals for AMC and GME. We are going to focus up on where are we in this cup and handle right here, and we're going to understand a little bit more about the stock. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, kings, queens, and everything in between, today we had a pretty good day. If you could just imagine for a second how good today was. 50% up on the day. 52.86 is going to be the new tattoo on everyone's sleeve. GME, wow. Just wow. It is still continuing to rip after hours, but you probably are wondering exactly what happened and oh, hey, where's that cup and handle? Where is that squeeze? I'm going to answer all these questions and more. Remember, if you wanted 2 free stocks, in the description down below is that WeBull link to be able to get the same technical setup that I have here. It's looking at AMC on my left, GME on right above me, and the price and all the financial metrics that you want to take care of. That is something for you to look down in the description, as well as hitting that subscribe and like button will really help out the stream, and onward we go. What we're looking at here on the left is Wynn Resorts. It's a 2002 cup and handle. So this is actual historical data from a real cup and handle. What we'll notice here is double testing of one resistance among a long period of time. This cup and handle took months, if not years, to form. The reason why psychologically this works is because 2 of the same populations of people thought that the price of the stock was worth more than a certain threshold. It looks like right here, slightly underneath $180. What we notice here is just major dips right before we saw a major rip. So these 2 dips look very similar. Right now I have the daily chart for GME right above me, right here, and we see that the January gamma squeeze is that perfect left lip right there at around 472. The right lip of that cup is a little bit lower at 350. So Duck Gang, Space Apes, Moon Gang, and Moon Platoon. What does that tell us? Well, it tells us that this is the bottom of a beautiful U. The longer and deeper the bottom of the U can be, the better it will be for the rip later. And what else can we see here? One one major red candle, two major red candles. Looks very similar to these major dips in the chart in 2002, right? And as we speak, the handle has already dipped far lower than halfway up on the lip, so that gave us a moment to pause and worry. However, now we are well above that 50% part of that cup and handle. Right now we're at 180. If we take the right side of the lip and look at 350, that is looking good for us. So that's on the macro scale. That cup and handle pattern is still in effect with decreasing volume all the way until today, where we had almost 50 million volume. Now, Diamond Dallas page says, my wife tried to get me to sell after being down 50% this morning on 20K. Told her my sell button was broken, and here you are. If you guys have a similar story like that, drop it in the comments or in the live chat, because we want to hear exactly how tempted you were to sell on the dips. Do we ever have a song that says sell on the dips? I don't think so. We also have these option chains here that tells us a little bit more information about our gamma ramps. This is just a snowball slide, a frozen slide essentially, of how much snow there is on the ground, how many contracts there exist on the left and the right side of a current price. And that's given by the certain amount of volume per contract and each strike price that you would put a contract at. If that doesn't make sense, if it goes over your head, for now, just understand that that allows us to have additional pressure as we roll past certain strike prices. Let's turn GME back into the minute by minute chart so that we can focus on this analysis once more. I drew some channels earlier this morning when we had a 9-part impulse wave. If you guys ascribe to the Elliott wave theory, that is one of the opportunities for us to be able to track how much growth we should expect and how many impulses we should see. After this impulse wave of a breakout from 120 all the way up to 180, that was nearly 50% rise right by itself. It consolidated and started trading sideways at between two major support and resistance levels. This is really important to be able to note that it was right between 155 and 168. This was the testing grounds for GME many times in the past, and as it bounces between these two very tightly compacted resistance and support levels, we knew that it was in a holding pattern. We saw that this dipped between these levels for a minute and almost approached the VWAP here, the volumetric weighted average price, but it didn't get close enough after rising up here. Now, you guys will remember that the prediction for this price movement was a rip upwards of 190 because of what we can see from this rip from 120 all the way up to 154. If we started to lose momentum, we could easily see another impulse all the way up from this bouncing between 160 all the way up to 190. We were just shy of 190 at the end of the day, so right now, it seems like GameStop is positioned itself for a major rip later on. Now, whether that's going to happen after hours pre-market or if there's going to be following a paper-handed dip in the morning for tomorrow remains to be seen. But do remind yourself that the options chain that we're seeing here has a major gamma ramp on the way up to $200. So what we saw here was 175. There's 3 million calls in the money right there, and it's all of the snow on the ground that we traversed earlier was all added one after another. We started adding 2 million when we crossed 130 from the morning. We had another million when we crossed 140. We added another 500,000 when we got to 145, and then a full 3 million when we got to 150, and then another full million when we got to 160. Onwards and onwards, roughly $5.5 million worth of call options are now in the money, which allows us to have a major buffer if they try to slide the price of the stock back. How? Well, let's just say that the person over here that has not exercised their calls yet, when they see a slide of GameStop coming down, they'll exercise their ability to buy that stock at $140. So we saw that they have hedged the institutions and the market makers have likely already hedged all of these prices on the way up to 180, which is that snowball effect. Delta hedging allows us to gamma squeeze. That is that slow rising effect here that becomes more explosive on Fridays. Hey, tomorrow is Friday, so that's one of the things that you should pay a close attention to. One of the other things is that we like to pay attention to the MACD, and on the minute chart, the MACD was screaming to be bought right here when the price of the stock was bouncing between these two. Like I said, one of the first things that you want to pay attention to is when this is bouncing, does the MACD start to deviate greatly from the signal line? Right here, you would have bought, but you likely would have, if you're scalping, sold again if you saw that the MACD line went back and reintegrated with the signal line. However, here it's a different story. When we see the price of the stock start to rocket, the MACD line stays a healthy margin away. That orange line stays healthily away from that signal line, which allows us to make a good prediction of how long to ride the rocket, which is all the way up, sir, all the way up. And when we started bouncing right here, one of the things that the MACD line started to obfuscate is whether or not we had another channel upward. That is one of the major line drawings that I had here. The beginning morning channel here had a trajectory upwards of $200 by end of day. However, the second more modest and conservative channel that I drew later had it going up to 190, and it had a near miss at 183.75. AMC, on the other hand, had a day, and I'm going to pull up the options chain here, had a day of just struggling at between $9 to $10. You see that there were a major call wall here trying to get the AMC to roll straight past $10. And when did that happen? Happened roughly around the beginning of the day, right around here. However, it did struggle between $9 and $9.50 for a long time. Now, this is a very similar tandem impulse wave that we see. They are trading in tandem for the most part until it met an 11.25 barrier up here. We see that on the $11 mark, there were $1 million worth of call options here to support that impulse, and unfortunately, that was something that had an AMC bouncing between two levels here because there was a significant amount of puts as well, almost $1 million worth of puts, but double to triple the amount of calls. One more of the important pieces of this puzzle is whether or not AMC had the momentum behind it. We noticed down here in the OBV that it actually increases a significant amount when we saw this natural growth here. This does not get reflected when, let me pull this down a little bit. You see the gray line is the OBV. This does not get reflected when the price is manipulated and attacked as in previous times. So one of the best things to note is whether or not this is going to be natural growth or just a pump is whether or not the OBV is actually going to reflect the growth here. And the major things about the MACD line is that it also gave us insight into when to buy into AMC here at around 15, 13, 19, about 3:20 EST. AMC saw a major surge right as the MACD line crossed over the signal line. So that's something to pay close attention to if you want to be able to catch the bullish momentum of AMC pushing past the 11.12, which it now is hovering around after hours. Both AMC and GME are looking fairly positive for the for what could happen tomorrow. One of the first things that you should expect is another paper-handed sell-off if AMC and GME continue to rise after hours. I imagine that the possible ceiling for the rise after hours is going to be up to 190 or 200, and for GME and for AMC upwards of $13. So if AMC does start to rise here at 12, there is no put wall here that could prevent it from rising any higher. However, we have seen crazier things happen. So one of the more important pieces to note is that AMC just rose 2% to $11.15. If it continues to catch a after hours impulse, it is likely going to be caught somewhere between the $11.50 and the $12 calls that we have here. Snow on the ground is good. However, one of the most important things to remember is that a good amount of these contracts are going to expire tomorrow, and more so, that is why a gamma squeeze is much more likely on Fridays. Hopefully that gave you a pretty good understanding of where we stand for AMC and GME tomorrow, and happy hunting. Those of you who bought the dip, big thumbs up from Poppy. If you guys like this video, go ahead and throw your Meatball a treat. We have a Let me get rid of this. Okay, let's just go straight here. We got a PO box now in the description. Go ahead and check out these people. Thank you so much for supporting the show. Moon Platoon, Meatball the Space Legend tiers, and the Gorillionaire tiers. They all make the show possible. And if you guys wanted to join them, press that join button next to the subscribe button or the Patreon description in the link below. Thank you guys, and we'll see you guys in the money. Okay. Woo! All right. So Chuck Norris. Hey Andrew, I'm thinking about investing 250 euros. Chuck Norris, you're living in Europe now, in AMC. Not even for the money, but to send a message. What kind of orders do you recommend taking? Thanks in advance. Love Diamond Hand. Chuck Norris, I loved your work in multiple movies. However, I cannot give you financial advice. But it's good to know that you're living in Europe now. Let me know where. Okay. Ravenwood Concept says, new design in my email. McSqueeze. Ooh. Getting that coin already. So we talked about the McSqueeze, which I've coined as the margin call squeeze. It's the idea that institutions that have shorted the stock, let's call them short whales, they have different margin call thresholds, right? They shorted the stock at different points. They also have different assets. So at this point, we haven't yet talked about the fact that when one of these institutions gets margin called, it is going to put immense buying pressure and cause the partial short squeeze of that stock, of that sector of those shorts that have yet to be covered. Then it's going to roll up the price until more and more institutions now have to also get margin called and cover their shorts. This is something that I don't think anyone has really talked about yet. This is such cool art. McSqueeze from Ravenwood Concepts. Thank you. I'm including this in a future thumbnail for sure. McSqueeze. Big squeeze. This is good art. Thank you. Okay. Keith K says, why didn't my live stream end? It's because I don't end my live streams until I say, until there's a magic word where I go like, woo, then the live streams will actually end. McSqueeze is better than McD. Oh, man. You can access up to $5,000 of instant deposits. Crimmer. My limit is at 5K and always has been. Oh, you guys are talking about buying power? Have you heard that there are 2 billion shorts on AMC? Troller Pro HDX. There are not 2 billion shorts on AMC. There's 2 billion volume in the OTC dark pool for AMC in January. Okay? Be very specific about that. Chris Rakus, Andrew, if we moon soon, I commit to paying your lunch for at least a month. No pressure. What is soon? Yes, but yeah, I'll take you up on that. L Randall LR1, what did Warden say about options data? Don't get how he put out a video saying options don't matter on GME. Give Meatball a treat. What? He did? He was just on the show saying that options was the most important indicator to him. Huh. Here you go, Meatball. That's a treat from LR1 L Randall. Oh boy. So those of you who saw that, oh, this is not monetized. Shoot. This video wasn't monetized. Great. Good. Just figured that out. Great. Love to see it. Okay. All the chicken banh mi. Yes. All the chicken banh. That fried chicken banh mi yesterday was so good. Oh, man. So, what do you think of the closing number that could cause a DTCC to come knocking on Hedgy doors now that new regs are in place? I think, in my opinion, that we saw that there were estimates that the margin call number for the total number of assets that Citadel has was like $1,500, so less than $2,000. That was the surprising part for GameStop. So if GameStop gets up to $2,000, that is going to margin call Melvin, I think. Probably not Citadel, probably Melvin. So that is part of the mixed squeeze theory, that if Melvin gets short, that gets margin called, their buying pressure for covering all of their shorts may cause more institutions to be margin called as well. Robert says, who are the financial institutions backing these margin? Who is invested in these institutions? Maybe those investors demand a call. The hedge funds, we've talked about it before, are rich people. They have to be made, you have to make 200,000. Okay, I think I'm going to make a whole video on the mixed squeeze, so we can coin this early. Hey Andrew, did you see that CNBC headline article saying do not put your stimulus into GameStop? Ooh, CNBC. Ooh. Yo, did I have a banh mi today? I did finish that banh mi sandwich. That was a half a fried chicken sandwich banh mi. Okay, we're gonna do a mixed squeeze video here. Ooh, baby, get rid of you. Excuse me. Okay, so that's that. Who are these financial institutions backing these margins? And then I'm going to get that mixed squeeze photo. Where is that mixed squeeze photo? Okay, cool. Mixed squeeze. Oh, baby, that's a big mixed squeeze. That's a chicken sandwich right there. Okay. All right, let's do this real quick. So I'm in this in a WeBull. Okay, cool. Desmond says, can you explain more about the OTC outstanding shares and what does that mean? Thank you. Generally, and here comes the weird analogy that I did before. Generally, what you can imagine is the stock goes down when people sell, and the stock goes up when people buy. However, that is only if it is registered on the main markets, right? So that's normally how the stock gets influenced back and forth. However, there are smaller markets owned by private institutions, probably like Credit Suisse or something like that, that then allows smaller companies to be traded back and forth. That is OTC, right? Over the counter or off exchange volume. These off-exchange volumes allow us to be able to trade, you know, mom and dad's like video game console company without having to IPO and actually show up on the New York Stock Exchange. However, since these like underground dark pool markets exist, you can trade your AMCs and your GMEs there too. And right now, when Citadel takes an order for buying a bunch of GME and takes another order that is selling a bunch of GME, they're going to take that buy order and then execute it in the OTC, and then take that sell order and execute that in the actual market, so that the downward pressure is only reflected in the big markets that we know of, the New York Stock Exchange, for example. Unfortunately, at the same time, they can also short the stock on the off-exchange market as well, and that way we have less data about that, and the normal retail investor clearly has a leg down in the game because they don't know that that's a thing that you can even do. You're changing the rules because who knew you guys could do that? There you go. DFE is an AMC as well, not to my knowledge. Jay Raider says, I only listen to Andrew for his non-financial advice. There we go. And I don't have anything else, so you just listen to me 100% of the time. There you go. Okay. Oh, Joshua James explained on Matt Core's channel this morning that there are two types of OTC. The FINRA report is the non-ATS, non-dark pool. Oh, in that case, we should stop complaining them. Thank you, Michael Baker. Whoa, hold on a sec. Hey guys, mixed squeeze. What is that? What is a mixed squeeze? Well, it's the idea that when one of these hedge funds, institutions, Melvins of the world that have shorted the lovable AMC and GME stocks gets margin called, that buying pressure from that one institution deciding to cover all their shorts, or not having a choice in the matter, of course, they end up triggering the price to go up to trigger more margin calls. So outside of the short squeeze, outside of the gamma squeeze, this is the effect that different institutions have different points, different prices on GameStop and AMC, where they would have to get margin called by their purse string holders, either their clearinghouses or the DTCC. When if it comes down to it, we have multiple regulations on DTCC coming out of DTC covering their own butts. And one of the most important pieces that I want you guys to take away is understanding who is going to pay and when are they going to pay. We have a question from Robert. Who are these financial institutions backing these margins? Who's invested in these institutions? Maybe those investors demand a call. So one of the first questions is, who can invest in a hedge fund? Very simple. Rich people. Rich people. We've covered this a few weeks back, but if you make $200,000 this year, and then you made $200,000 a year before that, and then you made $200,000 a year before that, if you can basically prove that you have somewhere between $600,000 in the last 2 years leading up to this year, you can invest in a hedge fund. Or you can skip all that, and if you have $1 million in the bank, then you can invest in a hedge fund. So this definition can vary, so don't hold me to it. However, the scale of which how much money you need to invest in a hedge fund answers Robert's question. Who's invested in these institutions? Rich people. And right now, these rich people have your parents and your grandparents' 401ks held pretty darn tightly with their contributions because they have a lot of money that moving around. Maybe a medium-sized hedge fund is maybe a couple $1 billion. They have a lot of money that's not theirs. They're just managing it for the grandparents, for the 401ks, for the retirement plans. And when they get margin called on their bad bet on the GME and AMC fiasco, guess who's going to have to pay? The entire market. What's going to happen first when a margin call occurs? Let's answer that question. You can get margin called yourself. If you walk down the street and try to buy some stocks, like you do, you walk down the street, try to buy some stocks, and you say, oh, I don't have any money. I guess I'll just put it on margin, right? Eventually, you're going to have to be margin called if the price of your long positions get so low that even if you sell all of the stocks in your portfolio, you still cannot afford to cover them. That is the opposite situation of the short positions that the hedge funds currently have. The short positions that these hedge funds have is a little bit counterintuitive. It's kind of like owing money, except that you owe the stocks. You owe GME and AMC shares to the people that you borrowed them from. And when it comes to synthetic and naked shorts, then there's nobody you owe it to. You just need to be able to buy it from the market at whatever value the market sets it at. Let's say that the price of GME goes up either through a gamma squeeze or through just regular fundamentals of how much the stock is worth. We've talked about how the stock is worth up to quadruple digits based on just fundamental analysis alone. If the price of the stock gets up to a point where of the amount of money that the hedge funds have of all of their stocks, if they sold all of their stocks at once, they still don't have enough money to buy back all of the shares they need to cover. All of the shorts that they have owed to the people around them. That is different. That number is different for every single institution because one, they shorted it at different positions, right? They might have shorted at $4. They may have been shorting it all the way up for all these short ladder attacks and general short attacks, right? When you short the stock, all shorts must cover eventually. So it depends on when they shorted. It also depends on how much they shorted. And finally, everything depends on GME and AMC's price. If it gets to a certain point, who is going to margin call them? One, their clearinghouse, right? Who is going to be the next bastion of has to pay if the hedge funds end up not having enough money to actually cover it even after liquidating all of their positions. And then the DTCC with their $1 trillion insurance package. They could also be on the line, which is why they're trying to set up regulations right now with 003, 004, and NSCC 801 to try to be off the hook. They don't want to have to be holding the bag when these shorts whales end up not being able to play the position. But the main point of the mixed squeeze is that when one of these institutions get margin called, that is going to be able to bring more people closer and closer to that margin call of danger proximity when the price of that stock has a small short squeeze. So all shorts must cover. If you guys like that explanation, see that it's coined here, right here on this show. The reason why I started talking about it was I don't think a lot of people have considered that this is an important precursor to the actual short squeeze. We've talked about how all shorts must cover, and when these institutions get margin called as if they're one huge institution, that is the 10D day that we all get to go up to Valhalla. No, it's probably going to be institution by institution, slow bleed by slow bleed. And if you guys are still working around here holding by then, we will see you in space. For now, but not for forever, check out the people that make this show very possible, and we'll see you in the money. Okay. Oh, man. Okay, so I got a couple questions. Michael Baker says, oh yeah, so that's the distinction of the OTC. Diamond says, will they get called on the 2 billion AMC? That's, as of right now, a legal issue, as in it's perfectly legal. However, they will likely start to talk about that, especially in that 2:30 p.m. Conference, closed door conference call in the SEC. They might have been talking about that then. Mel Michelle says, I missed my pup Shelby, adorable distant cousin of Meatball. I was taking care of father in hospital. Please show again. Mel Michelle, I got you. Hope your father is okay. And then Iron Man, thank you for coming up to the Mo Monkey tier. I appreciate that. You are just now part of the special operations of the Mo Monkey tier right here. Oh boy. Love the new tagline. See you in the money. Heck yeah. Okay, so what do we got here? We got this adorable Meatball picture. Very, very good. Thank you, Cassandra, again. That's a Cassandra Imagines here. Let's see. Oh my gosh, she's having a really cool idea. Okay, so here's Mel Michelle's dog. Very cute. Boom. And then Cassandra was talking about turning it into an NFT. That would be a really cool idea. Andrew, what you are talking about is the sole reason for the whole we can stay dumb longer than they can stay solvent. Yes, that's true. Financial Tech says, Andrew Money is a grinding man for the people. Thank you. I appreciate that. Josiah Haynes, cool name. What are the chances that AMC could reach 2,000? Once again, you set your price in the afterscape of the mixed squeeze, right? Honestly, we should really start talking about it as the mixed squeeze. Once these institutions get margin called, they are gonna have to be called one after another, and at that point, they will be desperate. Imagine Citadel with their billions of dollars, right? Or more. Imagine if they had a certain cap and they thought that they could not go bankrupt if they could pay a certain amount of money for GME. So they might try to not be bankrupt early and beat to the punch the margin call, right? And that way they'll have a little bit of extra money and they won't go entirely under. Well, when you get to set the price, you could refuse to sell all the way up to $2,000, right? The entire market would have to agree though, because it's a prisoner's dilemma. If you don't sell it for $2,000, someone else might. So we're gonna have to play that mental game every single step of the way until we get to the very top. KM, thank you for joining as a Mo Monkey Special Operations Gang. I really do appreciate it. Will you be speaking on what happened in that meeting, or would we even know what was discussed? It's a closed door meeting, so they might put out a public press something, but as of right now, I don't think that I've missed anything yet. Let's see. What's the motivation of the live stream's title? What is one last try? It is me getting kicked out of this live stream 3 times, but now I can just call it plus 55%. I'll call it we did it. No, let's not call it we did it. That's a little FUD. Let's call it we win the day. There we go. What? Mo motivation. Let's go. What would stop hedge funds from sequentially covering shorts by cycling cyclically trading the same 1 million shares back and forth in a dark pool. So the dark pool, I don't think does the same thing that you think it does. You can't. So the dark pool is just like under the table transactions is a better way to think about it. Depends on what part of the dark pool, right? In the FINRA report that we saw in public available data, that was a specific part of OTC transactions that are not part of the dark pool. So to answer that question, cyclicality for the dark pool doesn't mean that the shares aren't being traded. It's just that it doesn't affect the price of the stock in the same way that you normally imagine. Buying creates higher pressures, selling creates lower pressures. So, well, negative pressure and positive pressure. Luis Enquanto says, where do we think we're on the teacup? Thanks, you rock. We just made a whole video about that a second ago, but we are, let me show you a picture. We are here. So this is a real cup and handle, and we are basically right here, right? We've made up all of the dips that we saw in the last day, but it's a little bit of a suspicious victory because we made up all of that dip in one day, whereas this cup and handle, they had to have several days of making it, or even weeks. So that is the tricky part. Is GME just an expedited like stock? Is it just fast in nature? Obviously it's volatile, but is it actually like going to show this signal, this bullish signal, this much faster than an actual world cup and handle used to? Not that we're not in an actual world right now. DefTech12B, what's going on? Thank you so much for joining the Mo Monkey Army. Oh man, did you check on GameStop's tweet? Right on the Mo Money. Okay, let me check it out. So this is DFE's tweet. Bless you. GameStop, Twitter. Uh-oh. Well, at least we tried today. Okay, so embark on the craziest co-op journey of your life. It Takes Two. It Takes Two is available now. So this looks like, what am I looking at? It looks like two people holding different pieces of a magnet, and they're running down with skates down a snow mountain. First of all, the realism of this game, come on, how can you wear skates on a snow mountain? Otherwise, this makes perfect sense to me. What do you guys think about this tweet? Bless you, mother, says Christopher Chestnut.
Thank you.
Oh, Surface Smurf asking a question here. I think the question is, why though? Why can't HF just cover by trading the same 1 mil GME AMC back and forth until they do cover? I think the reason why my stream health is struggling is because I think I'm streaming at too high quality, so I will change that in the future. But the question is, why though? Why can't HFs just cover by trading the same 1 mil GME AMC back and forth until they do cover? So let's say that they have that same 1 mil. And the same paper hands come back and buy in, right? Let's say that the scalper is trying to buy in a G-Bucks, and then they sell at like $800 because now they are, the price is going up and the scalper wants to buy low, sell high. Father is better, and thanks for showing my pup. He enjoyed it also. Aw, thank you, Mel Michelle. That's a really good comment, honestly. Mo mama. Ooh. Okay, so what was I saying? I was talking about almost 5,000 of you and only 1,000 likes. That's a problem. Math doesn't check out. Big brain. Boo 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 boo. Hit that like button. I appreciate that. The question of the day that I totally lost my train of thought just now, because I was reading one of the more funny comments that I've seen. Skating downhill racing is actually an X Games sport. It's super intense. I thought someone was going to say that. Okay, so I guess this is realistic. Andrew, mom should be proud. You're doing a great job. My mom is proud. She also lives in Chicago, and I don't live with her. I'm buying all your mom's lunch after this is over, says Luke. Have they discussed that FINRA's 10.9 million% short? 10 million% short? That sounds like a glitch. We already talked about a glitch earlier. Where did that Renzel video go? Okay, Renzel. James Ego says, I just got back and whoa, baby, both AMC and GME looking good. That's true. Hello. Oh boy. Okay, well, what can I do? I'm gonna change the nature of the stream in the future, so I apologize. This never has happened yet, so I think it's an internet problem. I don't think it's a like thing problem, but I will do whatever I can to try and figure this out here. Where did the dark pool thing go? What am I answering? Oh, here it is. So here is where JKI is 1,000,000% short. This is a bug. There we go. We've answered that. People who are more familiar with the stock market, this stuff is old as heck. The JKI is an ETF name that's no longer active and has no GME in it. So there you go. Oh, hey, Johnny says, just on Instagram of my pets. Gonna go check it out in a sec. Geomatos says, hey, I subbed. Say thanks so I can say you're welcome. Thank you, Geomatos. Jeff says, if anyone says the word sell at my house, they have to put $1 in the swear jar. Of course, then we'll use that money to buy more AMC. Boom. Tyler Skinner, what question am I trying to dodge? The 10 million thing, right? This is it, unless there's something else. Jake Howden, if AMC GME were a ski jump, you need the dip to gain speed for the launch. Oh, Mo Money gained strong. Thank you, Jake. That's perfect. That makes perfect sense. What is happening with Super Salty games over here? Rihan's World is quite a bot. Hugo Velasquez says, when there's a buy, there's a sale. So how does dumping shares only drive price down when someone has to buy them, driving the price up? Wouldn't it be a stalemate and price always stays the same? That's a good point. Well, no, it's not. The way that the market works is that selling pressure indicates on the HFT algorithm. That's when you go, and that's the payment for order flow essentially. Like you want to put these sale orders out there, and the more sale orders that exist out there, the more selling pressure there is, right? And in addition to the fact that we learned that all of these sales that are accepted by Citadel could just be executed in the in OTC. Right? That is something that is really important to be able to note, is that we oftentimes don't have control. We don't have enough data. That's the main point of the beginning of the stream when I talked about what kind of data are you guys looking for? What do you even care about when it comes down to the end of the day? I'm going to look at what my because my video was looking real gross, like the 2 videos that I started and that barely 4 minutes. What was this video even about? Okay. Into this access to